Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Hey.
Brad and Allie, two of my favorite people on the entire planet. So I'm so glad that you both are joining me. Brad and Allie, two of my favorite people on the entire planet. Oh, so I'm so glad that you both are joining me. So I'm plugging in my head.
You know how we feel about you.
Yeah,
Oh.
we feel the same, Muriel.
Love and admiration and a lot of respect.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm putting on my headphones now, so hopefully we won't have an echo. So let us know if anyone is echoing, and then we'll headphone. But it's funny because I am now very low tech. I'm sitting here in the TrueFire studios, which is very high tech, as you see here. We just finished filming my new TrueFire course. And but I'm just going directly to a computer here. So there's just a little computer speaker, and computer mic. So I hope you can hear me all right. Yeah. And Brad and Allie, I introduced you to people as the masterminds behind TrueFire. Yes. And TrueFire's, I think the most successful music education online platform out there. And
well, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's not only that. I mean, the bigger part of it is, as I say, two of my favorite people, just great people to work with. And is it okay if I tell a story on you before I let you expound upon TrueFire, what you're doing? Okay.
Be prepared because we've got stories on you too. So
that's right, you do, because you have produced my All-Star Guitar Night for a number of years, and you actually salvaged it out of the ditches because it was so difficult to do, so much work that I said, okay, this is it, I'm not doing it anymore. And then lo and behold, you showed up and say, well, we'll do it for you. And not only did you do it for me, take all that off my shoulders, but did it in a fantastic way. I could never have done the quality that you've done and the thoughtfulness. Every player felt like they were loved by the end of that. And all the sponsors felt that they were loved. You just had a great way, incredible amount of work to do that, and incredible heart to do what you did with All-Star Guitar Night in that way.
Well, now I'll tell you our story, at least my perspective. You and I worked together before there was a TrueFire. There was a Notes on Call.
Yes,
we had started up back in the early 90s, and you were authoring articles that appeared in print in the guitar magazine. And that's how we met. We called you up one day and said, hey, we'd love you to do an interactive audio lesson that shows how your print lesson should sound when played properly. So we did several of those together. So we had this great relationship.
Yes, I remember that.
You it was crazy back then. I mean, even the thought of it today is like, what? You're going to do this by the telephone? And of course, we wound up, probably close or over 7 million interactive audio lessons over the telephone. But
wow.
When we started going to NAMM and Notes on Call became TrueFire, All-Star Guitar Night was the most happening thing, and then we started to get into video, right? But people were a little weird about having you film them. Today, everybody has a camera or an iPhone or something like that. So you had, I will never forget the first All-Star Guitar Night. Allie and I were shooting on the floor, and we said, man, we have to sneak some cameras into All-Star Guitar Night. And so we waited till it was a little late, right? We went in the back elevators, and we were going to sneak our cameras in and shoot from the back of the room. We hit the button, the doors open. Who's in the elevator but you and your entourage? And it's like, oh, Brad, Muriel, hey, where are you going? Well, we're going to All-Star Guitar Night. And she goes, "Oh, are you going to film it?" Yeah, we'll film it. And it was really
Great.
that happenstance. And we met on the show floor. We never, we didn't have a clue what producing the show was all about, but we loved you. We loved the mission of helping, disadvantaged kids get instruction, guitars. And man, this is one of the best experiences we've ever had is working with you on those shows. And we did together, the three of us, we put together, some amazing shows, filmed all of them. All of that video is still, a lot of it is on your channel, your TrueFire channel. But, it was historic, man. So, what a pleasure that was, but always a pleasure to work with you. You have like this amazing, resilient, positive attitude that's infectious. And that's why we love you so,
Well, yeah, you've got to do that. But let me tell you a little story about working with Notes on Call. This is before TrueFire. When you contacted me to do that, I was asking, okay, well, how much do I have to pay to get my music on the telephone there for people to listen to? And you said, oh, no, we'll pay you. And I said, what? And you'll actually pay the artists? And he said, oh, yeah, we'll give you an advance. Oh, great. And then we'll pay you a commission. I mean, you'll pay me twice? And so you were the only ones at that time who were paying the artists their fair share, the only ones in the entire industry, I can swear. So right from the beginning, you were always so kind to the artists, and working with you, I never have a care. I know that we'll be treated well, and we'll have fun, and we'll hang out and have great dinners after the shows and after the video shoots, and always fun and wonderful to work with you.
Yeah, the Notes on Call is a really interesting learning experience for us. And, when we started that, we did not want to be associated with labels or publishers or, I'm not trying to diss anybody, but it was sort of like, that's not how you're supposed to treat an artist or musicians, right? And those experiences led to, how we work today, which is, we don't want to own your intellectual property, give you full control over everything. And, any artist, and now we've worked with 300 artists, but any artist is free to call us up any day and say, don't want to work with you anymore. Stop selling our stuff, knock wood or Formica or whatever this is here. That hasn't happened yet. And it's sort of like that, love somebody, set them free kind of a thing. And the spirit of that has really served us well. And we always knew that, maybe our not so secret ingredient was the artists that we're privileged to work with, It's just love doing what we're doing and love doing it with who we're doing it with. So, how can you fault that approach? You can't.
Yeah. Well, the artistry and detail with which you do everything, I think we have to tip our hats to Allie for that. And in addition to that, the really cool goodie bags and little gifts that we get, and the incredible special treatment that we get. So, Allie, I really want to thank you for all of those things.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and really, it really makes all the things that we do worthwhile to be able to have those relationships, and to feel like we're contributing to making the music, continue for our, current student base and current fans and hopefully for the players, of the future. So, it's something really special, and we're proud, to be your partner in it.
Yeah, great. Well, I guess I should say some hellos for people who are popping in to say hey, and then play a tune for them if my microphone will allow here. This very primitive mic I have. But hi to Mike, and Bunny is there as well, and Brian. Oh, great, from Punta Mita, Mexico. right? So wonderful to see you there. And Cindy's saying, okay, sounds all right, good. And Tom Hankinson, our longtime friend as well, is popping in. So great to see you. And this course that I just finished recording was one of your ideas, a series on guitar heroes, the people who inspired us, 6 people who inspired us. And we talk about what we learned from them and pass it on. So what a brilliant idea. I had so much fun recording this course. So before I play something from it, Brad, what was, how did that come about? Whose idea was that?
Yeah, I wish I could say it was mine because it's a brilliant idea. I think Allie, Jeff Sheets, and Tommy came up with it. And it was, it's like one of those things where you hear, we all are influenced by the artists that came before us, right?
Yeah.
And those influences, seek their way into our music in various ways. So this notion of asking artists to talk about who their influences were, not only do artists love to do that, but the courses are just amazing. Like your course, killer. Tell people really quickly who the artists that you covered on your course.
Well, the first is my first guitar hero, the one that inspired me to play really and to fall in love with the guitar is Doc Watson. And so I'm doing from that Memphis Blues. So that ending actually is a little something I learned from David Bromberg. He showed that to me one day while we were eating chocolate mousse. But that was, how was the sound on there? If I can ask you, from there it sounded all right. But that was one on that first album, the Doc Watson in Nashville album, that I would run home from school to listen to and try to learn every song on that album while I was in grade school, junior high.
And then you did a segment on Chet, of course.
Yes, of course, Chet Atkins. And for that, I did a little tune that I wrote for Chet. I call this Mr. Chester. So a segment from that.
Yeah. So Muriel, you don't know this, but usually we're able to go into the tracking room and, now we're doing, we're very strict, COVID protocols here.
Right.
But the guys rigged Allie and I a little drop cam so we can listen and watch. And
no kidding.
Yeah. So it was killer. So I'm going to introduce the next segment was Christopher you talked about, right?
Right, Christopher Parkening.
Give us a little taste.
And so I didn't start classical until college. I'd been playing folk and bluegrass, little jazz. And Parkening really taught me to hone my phrasing. And so this is a tune that I wrote. so that's a part of Arioso, a tune that I wrote to try to express unconditional love if it could be music.
Beautiful. And then I think I had this, not an epiphany, but I revisited a Muriel Anderson epiphany when I heard you do the next segment. Juan, play a little from that.
Yeah. So let's see. The next one was Wayne Lewis. No, wait a minute. Juan Serrano first.
Juan
Serrano, yes.
Serrano.
And so there are a number of flamenco players, but Juan showed me some techniques that were just really cool, and I used some of them.
So, I'm tuned in, I'm listening to you go through all these artists pretty much in that exact order, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like, your versatility it's crazy. It's, everything from bluegrass to classical and everything in between. And, how and why does that happen in a single artist?
Be versatile. I just, every time I needed a little extra inspiration and I'd hear something that was really cool, I said, oh man, how do I do that? And then I was off to a new world of inspiration, and life was fun again. And so that just happened many times, and it ended up going through a lot of different styles of music in the process, and still am. So I think there's still more to discover.
It never ends. And that reminded me of the Tierra Negra when you introduced us to them, and they did a lot of all-star guitar nights, and you wrote some of my favorite tunes were in that period, So can you do a little bit of Bill? Let's just go through the last two.
The last one? Well, Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys were just an amazing influence when I was playing in a bluegrass band for 6 years. And the rhythm guitarist at that time was Wayne Lewis. So as we played at Bill Monroe's Bluegrass Festival every year, grab a pick here. I sat backstage, and in between the acts, I asked him, how does he do that? And I watched him, and I watched his hands, and learned how he rolls the pick at an angle this way to grab, the those bass notes, and fills them in like this, and really special way to do this little stutter in his runs. So I'll do a little bit of bluegrass backup, and also the way he played, mixing up the different strums and the different push. And so the reason why that was so important is that he was my inspiration in timing. And that's where I honed my timing to get that little push to the front of the beat on the strums that the guitar player does to propel the band. And that's kind of my default happy place when I'm playing, So I have to be really careful when I play the blues, so I have to put myself in a different place so I can go to the back of the beat and not the front of the beat on those drums. But yeah, all sorts of great, all those great old flat picking tunes. So much fun to play. And I don't flat pick very much anymore. And I'm now that I've done this course, I'm kind of jonesing to go back and pick up my flat pick again and go out to the full moon picking parties if they were to happen again.
There's so many great memories from those all-star guitar nights. You would get all these amazing world-class artists, and they'd all have a style, and you'd bring them up and you guys would play together. I mean, it just, once in a lifetime. Just
Yeah.
you iced the cake with Leo Kottke. Can you give us a little of that?
Yes. So I didn't know Leo Kottke very well. I played a couple shows together, and but there was one time backstage that I asked him how he does that percolating bass thing that he does, and with that, he showed me that he stops the string with this part of his thumb or that part of his thumb, and so that was a whole new thing for me. So I was doing my playing all with a muffled bass like this, which meant that was my tone right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted this tone over the sound hole when I played, and that allowed me to make a stop bass sound and have the tone I want. So that's a bit of a fine pickle.
So, ask folks what they think about this, the nature of this course, capture your influences, both in words and in music and in technique. Well, I guess I just asked them.
Yeah.
Can you chime in on chat and tell us what you think? Because I am blown away by what Muriel did today. I just think it's incredible.
Oh, great. Well, yeah.
And we'll see what folks, but you had a blast doing it. I could tell that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I was, trying to think of what I would do for this course, and you came up with a better idea than I could have come up with that.
Well,
and yes. So Cindy is saying, yeah, she likes the idea. Great. And Bunny is seeing an old movie in her head when I played that. And that's because I wrote it to go with my grandparents' old silent movie. And you can see that on Wednesday. I want to invite everyone here to join me Wednesday. This will be my first indoor concert all year in front of a live audience. And it'll also be live streamed. So this will be in Orlando. If you're in Orlando, you can come for real. I believe it's a limited audience and very high ceilings. And they're very COVID conscious there. Mm-hmm. But you can also watch it online. And I think it's just $5 to watch it online. Awesome. And I'll be doing it with all the visuals behind me. So that'll be a cool thing to have Brian's visuals.
And just wait, we're not going to even tell you on this visit, but we have a vision for your next project here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, yeah. It's a whole new attitude, right, Allie? Don't give it away. But how would you describe it without giving this away?
Let's see.
Do I have to wear leather pants for it?
You can if you want.
No, definitely. This is all about. Muriel has some cool fringe pants, and so this might be just the project to bust out the fringe pants. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
So very special. Yep, very special, very exclusive. So we're very excited about that one.
So it's a whole new approach, and you're the perfect candidate for this type of a project. So stay tuned. Audience, stay tuned. Muriel, stay tuned. But we know what you're going to do next. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still in suspense here.
Well, I'm going to keep you there too.
All right. Well, do you know when this course is going to be out approximately? How many months does it take to process what we just filmed today?
Yeah. Within 60 days, this course will be launched.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. You remember, I mean,
Great.
Muriel remembers, come from the
Mhm.
very beginning, being one of the, not only the first Notes on Call artists, but one of the first TrueFire artists. It used to literally take us months and months, sometimes a year in between this. Over the last couple of years now, we've been, tweaking this and tweaking that. And Tommy's gotten the production cycle down to 60 days or less. So I
Wonderful.
can't wait. And I've got a feeling your fans are going to really dig this one. Or, everything's tab notated, video sync tab, slow it down, loop it, do the whole thing. But I think they're going to be very pleased. And I think you're going to be very happy with what comes out the other side. Muriel.
Right. Well, I do have another big project that has to do with this. And if those of you would like to sign up for my TrueFire channel, I'm going to teach all of these songs in their entirety. So in the course, I do an excerpt and teach that part. And then on the TrueFire channel, I will teach each one of these from beginning to end. So that may take several chapters there.
Yeah, the channel
yes.
incredible. Allie, she's already doing it. She's always 2 steps ahead of me.
Yeah.
Well, actually maybe 5 steps, but 2 steps ahead of the general population. Check out this channel. It's incredible. There are artist channels. Muriel shoots everything, self-publishes, does whatever it is that she wants to do, and true to form, everything's killer there. What's a subscription for the channel, for the premium channel, Muriel?
The subscription price?
Yeah.
For the subscription? Yeah, I think it's $9.95 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not expensive.
No,
Yeah.
you can go and Allie posted the link. Go check it out and just have a look at what you get, the bang you get for that buck. And it's an awesome way to, we really started. Fortunately, we had these channels in place before the pandemic, and they turned out to be a saving grace,
Yeah.
for us as well as for the artists, because the studio was shut down. We've only just now opened it up under these very tight COVID protocols.
Yes.
And artists, there are no gigs, no tours, no recording dates. It's been a hard thing. So fortunately, we had part of the solution, not just whined about the problem.
Yeah.
And the work that you've done is, incredible. So I really urge everyone to go check it out. Because Muriel is the coolest of the cool, and not only a maestro on the instrument, but clearly, if someone were to ask me, we worked with 300 artists, to pick out 3 artists that I thought were unbelievable educators, you'd be in that top 3. It would sound too whatever obsequious if I were to say number 1. But I'd probably say number 1, you're just an incredible, you have a way of communicating some very sophisticated concepts and techniques in an incredibly, accessible way, which helps people learn how to play the music that they want to play. So, that's why we keep twisting your arm to come back in here on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, I think it's partly because I explore music kind of like an inventor or a puzzle. I like to discover things myself. And so in the process, it becomes exciting to say, oh, look, I figured out how to finally put this finger down and hold it in the right place so it doesn't buzz on this note. Or I figured out how to do this harmonic technique. And so it's, I think, partly an approach that I allow people to discover things for themselves as well. So I have a very open-minded approach towards technique and how it's used in your music.
Yeah, and I particularly, and you do that so well, but I love there's this whole artistic, more cerebral, creative way you have of helping people learn how to express what they're feeling through their music, which,
Oh,
is
yeah, that's
pretty powerful,
important.
Um,
Yeah.
when you talk about certain tunes and, the inspiration for the tune and how what you were feeling or seeing or experiencing, how you translated that into a song, a melody, a passage, a rhythm. I think that's incredible, and it's
Well,
really hard to do, but you do it pretty darn well, Muriel.
oh, thanks so much.
This misconception too about like, masterful guitarists that somehow they've like arrived at this destination and that the students are trying to kind of like catch up or somehow like achieve this destination. And I think really for almost all the artists we work with, if not all of them, they're all on their own journey too of sort of exploration and inspiration and learning and growth. And I think that's sort of the interesting concept when you think about it that way, because you're sort of going along with them on this journey. And yes, maybe they have more tools in their tool kit, and yes, they are a little further advanced, but it's like this notion of like kind of going along with them on exploring the instrument, and the ones that do a great job of making you feel like you're kind of in it together and you're kind of exploring these things together is part of what I think makes Muriel so effective and inspiring as an instructor, because she does make you feel like you're going on this journey and figuring this kind of cool stuff out together. And it's not like this feeling like I'll never, get there, or somehow, like it's sort of somehow beyond, achievement. So.
Well, Allie, I have to say that first two things. Before I forget, I want to invite everyone this Saturday to a guitar workshop I'm doing online as well as in Georgia, Dalton, Georgia. So please join me for that guitar workshop if you'd like to. That'll be on Zoom. And all those links should be on my website, if not on the Now page on my website. But along the lines of technique and virtuosity, as we call it, in doing All-Star Guitar Nights, it's especially evident that every single person on that stage can do something I can't do. And everyone has this incredible virtuosity in different ways. And I feel so humbled when I'm next to every one of them, every one of those guitarists on that stage each year. And so, I'm sometimes not always great in the way I accept compliments, because I know that I could be so much better, and I know I could learn this and I could learn that. There's so many worlds I have yet to explore or have not fully embodied the music. So much more to do, and I hope that I can keep the inspiration up to explore, new terrain.
Well, we're counting on you to do that.
Okay.
You've got plenty of time ahead of you.
I'm putting the workshop link in the chat for you, Muriel, here, the Georgia one, so that people can have a quick link to that.
Oh, good.
So that they can maybe check that out for the weekend.
Yeah.
So, we talk about your mastery of the instrument, your proficiency at teaching, your spirit. But we didn't talk about cheese yet. Okay.
Oh,
and
cheese. That's a big subject.
Big part of
the Queen's
my
cheese.
Muriel story.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the Queen's cheese in particular.
Yes. I think it was Indianapolis. NAMM show was there. We were doing an All-Star Guitar Night. Muriel had just toured Europe. Okay. And, hugs, kisses when we saw her. And out of her bag, she brought us the Queen's cheese. And it was like, you don't travel with a lot of stuff when you're coming or going to Europe, right? But she got this cheese, traveled God knows how many miles to hand that cheese to us. The most delicious cheese I've ever had in my life. But the gesture was just magical.
Yeah. Well, and I found out
in my head always.
Yes, that was Queen Beatrice's favorite cheese, the Queen of Holland at that
Uh-huh.
time. And so when I discovered that at this very special cheese shop, I said, okay, that's what I have to get for Brad and Ellie.
It was unbelievable. Um, just
Right.
just the thought was awesome. And we appreciate you inviting us to your live stream and allowing
Yep.
us to share our Muriel stories with your fans.
Oh, great. And I encourage everyone to go to TrueFire.com and just see the incredible variety of musicians that you have there, guitarists from all genres, and some incredible lessons and performances there.
And you know what? Like you, we're still learning. We've been doing this now over 20 years, and we've only begun, kind of a thing. And just,
Really?
I'll say this again. You guys got to pick up this last course, My Guitar Heroes by Muriel Anderson. You're going to love it, as well as her whole library over here. There's some just incredible stuff. And stay tuned for what's next for Muriel.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
not even going to tell her for another couple of months.
well, I tell you what's next, because we are in St. Petersburg, and what's next is a nice stuffed grouper. That's right. That's what's coming up next, and it's so great to be here with you, to be out of the snow for a little while,
Yeah,
and to experience a little bit of a touch with reality again, touch with real life.
I know. Unfortunately, real life now is sort of like this,
Yeah,
right?
yep,
But there's an end in sight, at
yep,
least.
yep.
Some
There is.
light, little light at the end of the tunnel. And I hope on your next visit, we won't need masks. We can do
Right.
our dinner and wine thing.
Yep.
And hugs and kisses, and I get to be in the room when you're doing your thing. So
Oh, yeah.
thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, and thank you for being so conscientious at your studio. That's great.
Of course.
Yeah. Cheers. So long.
See
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.